This is an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File Program with Peter Anthony Holder.
Let's get to our first guest here in this edition of the Stuph File Program, shall we? And actually, before we get to our first guest, let's hear a little bit of music pertaining to our first guest.
My heart is fragile. It's like it's paper thin, a single imprint. Then it falls right back in, so just be careful. I'm not as strong as I seem. My love is naive, it's all innocent. Walk with me slowly, don't let go of my hand. Yeah, just be careful, 'cause I know I would crash land. Right now we're floating and everything seems so easy, but I know you can promise me forever, and I know you can say we'll always be together. I'm not sure who I would be if I'm without you. So please be gentle with me. Please be gentle with me.
What you've just heard is just a bit of a new single called Be Gentle With Me, off of the yet-to-be-released debut album of singer-songwriter Lars, an internet music sensation. The Swedish native's original songs have been streamed over 400 million times, and Lars, who, as I mentioned, hasn't even released his first album yet, is now living in Los Angeles and is currently talking with major music labels. He joins us via Zoom from L.A. Hi, Lars.
Hi, Peter. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being on the program with us, and I promise I will be gentle with you. So there you go.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
When you started this back home in Sweden, I mean, everyone wants to be an internet sensation, but did you ever anticipate that you'd have almost 400 million streamed versions of your songs to date?
No. That I think I was just in my parents' guest bedroom, sitting on the floor with my computer and recording a few songs, and then decided to post them online. And it's just crazy how the internet works, and also like streaming platforms like Spotify, who you can showcase your songs for the rest of the world. And I had no idea. I posted a song, and then a few people started sharing the songs, and some people would say got, I guess, viral would be a word to use, because it went very fast. But no, it's unbelievable, but I'm so grateful.
Are you someone who is self-taught, or do you have musical training?
I am self-taught, but I also have later on got some training. So I started with, funny story, my mom bought my dad a guitar when he turned 40. And guess what? I took that guitar and started playing in my room just for fun. And then I started watching YouTube videos and I was just singing for myself and in my room. And then I realized that I really liked music and wanted to do something with it, but I had no theory and I didn't know how to write a song. But that's when I Googled LA music school, like Hollywood, and then I ended up in a music school in LA, and that kind of started my journey on music, I would say.
Okay, so how old were you when you first began this journey?
I was 20. I just turned 21 when my music journey first started. But then, I've been playing guitar and singing covers and just in my room since I was a teenager, like 14. But when I was 21, that's when it first started, I would say.
So let's back up a little bit. Your mom buys your dad a guitar. You end up absconding with this guitar and playing it in your room. And then you start searching for ways to improve upon what you're doing, and you just simply Google the LA scene. And then you say to your parents, bye, I'm going to LA. How did they take all this?
I think they were nervous, but they were also excited that I wanted to leave my room and travel the world. And I think they love to see their kids doing something they love and chasing their dreams. So they were just hopeful for me. Obviously, music is not an easy industry and it's not easy to make it, so say. And it's taken, so that was back in, I left to LA back in 2016. So it's been for, yeah, like 6, 7 years of doing music to make it to where I am today.
As we played
Yeah.
a little bit of your single "Be Gentle with Me," as I mentioned in the introduction, you are now talking with major labels, so you don't even have a major label, even though you have an album that's ready to go. I assume. So, what's the process? Are you knocking on doors? Are people calling you and saying, "Hey, we'd like to represent you"? How is it working?
Actually, people reaching out, which is the cool part, because I feel like I've always had something against, not, I would say not always, but I think the beginning is like the dream is to sign with a major label. And then I have a lot of people who are in the music industry and some people who signed. And I've just heard all of these horror stories of people signing and it just did not go great. So I was always a little hesitant, and my first and like instinct has never been to reach out, and I haven't been looking for it because I was just making songs for myself and for anyone who wanted to listen. And then when things started taking off, people start to reach out. So it's been a lot of labels reaching out, and it's very cool. It's scary. It's exciting. I think one thing I realized is the bigger or like more well known you become, the harder it is to manage everything. Because I want to focus on writing songs, not looking at emails and data and stuff. So it is great. I'm in some cool discussions with labels, and we'll see what the future holds. But I'm just excited about the music, and we'll see. It's very cool.
You have that one name, Lars, like, Cher or Madonna, but that's not the name. I mean, that's your given name, but that's not the name you first started with as a musical artist. You started with the name Yao,
Yes, exactly.
which is
So
spelled Yaeow. How did that come about, and why did you go from Lars first to Yao as an artist, and then back to your actual name?
it's a very just, I think, random thing of me wanted. So when I first began my project, yeah, I wanted complete privacy. I didn't want anyone to know that it was me doing the music. So I needed a name that wasn't mine. So I made something up that also didn't exist. So when you would search for it, it would only be me. So it would just be about the music. And it was kind of protecting myself because the internet, you never know. There's a lot of things, and I wanted to just let the music talk. And I've never been interested being famous or like it's never been about money. I've always just been, it's all about the music. And then later on now, like so this year is when I actually stepped forward. So it's been 3 years of doing this full time. And then I just woke up one day and felt like I want to get closer to the fans and millions of people who are listening to my music. I also want to play live shows, which is also a part of getting closer to the fans. So I decided to come forward with my name and share more of my life and just the person behind the music. Like I am Lars, I'm Yao. Yao is a part of me, but I'm also Lars. That's who I am.
As we played a little bit of the song "Be Gentle with Me," is that very indicative of the type of things you do? How would you describe your style of music?
I would describe my music as very chill, pop with a hint of like sadness. Like I wouldn't, yeah, it's a lot of sad music or emotional music, and it's all about the feeling for me.
Do you consider
But
yourself a sad person?
not anymore. I would consider myself a sad person prior, but in the last few years, my life has changed a lot ever since I moved here to LA. And I would consider myself a happy person now, which is interesting because my music has also shifted more to a more happy content, or lyric wise it's more hopeful, which before it was more sad.
Well, it's interesting, because if you read any surveys or any studies about countries in the world, they often talk about Sweden as being one of the happiest places in the world. And yet you said you were not necessarily happy there and you only became happy when you moved.
Yeah, that's a very interesting. I mean, Sweden is a great country. Yeah. We have good healthcare, and Sweden is a great country, but I also think I never felt like I belonged there. And also, I'm from the north part where it's like dark half of the year. So coming to California where it's always sunny, I think that also brought some light into my life.
So, as I mentioned, your album is not released yet. You don't have a major label, but when do you think that will happen? And by the way, do you need a major label to release your album?
That's good questions. I would say no, you definitely do not. I don't need a label to release. But I'm in conversations right now, so it could happen any. I'm very open right now. It can happen any in the next few months. It could happen next year. I'm just focusing on the music, and if the right label comes around and we agree, and then I'm very happy to work together to get the best out of the music and get the best album release as possible.
Well, congratulations on what you've accomplished so far. I mean, it's amazing. Like I said, 400 million times that your work has been streamed. And as someone who, back in my youth, I used to put letters up on marquees, I will say on behalf of all the people who've ever done that, they'll be happy with you. It's only 4 letters, Lars.
Yeah. So thank you. First off, thank you so much. Yeah, no, it is. It's yeah. I agree with you, and they will be very happy.
Thanks for being on the program with us, Lars.
Thank you so much, Peter. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
That's Lars. His new single is called Be Gentle With Me, and it has just been released. You can go to my website at thestuffile.com, check out the show number for this program, which is show number 0744, and you'll find links to both Lars's YouTube page and Spotify page, where you can hear a lot of his work.
You've just heard an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File Program with Peter Anthony Holder. To hear any or all of the full hour-long shows, visit thestufffile.com. Stuff is spelled S-T-U-P-H. That's thestufffile.com. A presentation of Flying Fish Communications.